The Business Caring Formula, Building Your New Leadership Style, a business ethics and self-help book written by Emma Arakelyan, made its debut in New York City with more than 100 guests gathered for the book launch, surrounded by drinks, hors d'oeuvres, and New York City's skyline during the sunset in Midtown East. Guests included successful entrepreneurs, academics, community leaders, heads and CEOs of major companies, as well as authors' friends, family, and colleagues. More importantly, in attendance were a large number of young people, who perhaps will be the biggest beneficiaries of the Business Caring Formula. Emma is a management consulting executive, author, speaker, entrepreneur, philanthropist, coach, and professor. She wrote the book with over 20 years of experience as a consultant, working in more than 46 countries, driving change and transformation for Fortune 500 companies, as partner at Ernst & Young and later as managing director at Accenture. She is currently the CEO and co-founder of Orion Worldwide Innovations LLC, offering IP management and acquisition solutions to innovations and investors market globally. Emma also operates her multimedia company, Open Mind Productions LLC, where she creates podcasts interviewing the latest caring leaders and speaks in universities and corporations on several topics. The coined Business Caring Formula is a call to action for individuals of any industry or stage of career, emphasizing that corporate and social leadership are one and the same. The Business Caring Formula is part of an inclusive and action-driven leadership lifestyle developed by combining 7 critical ingredients: being a business family builder, plus a change engine, a responsible leader, an inclusive leader, a passionate leader, a humorous leader, and a positive leader. The book launch featured several speakers who have helped the book come together, including John Graham, a writer for over 40 years who worked closely with Emma in crafting the book's themes and online blog content.
I started talking about Emma, a woman he had worked with and known for years. He told me all about Emma and how she was about to launch this new phase in her professional life, and would I like to join them on their journey. The first order of business was a book. It was at a time when I was very busy, when I really shouldn't have taken on another project. But I really respect Rob and was really quite taken by his passion about Emma and what she wanted to do. And I told him I would meet with her, and if she had the goods, I was on board. Rob looked at me, chuckled, kind of rolled his eyes and said, "Oh, she's got the goods." She talked about her commitment to the environment and leaving the planet a better place for her children, for our children, for everyone's children. Her fascination with the galaxy and travel to outer space, I loved her talking about that. Emma said she would be on one of the first shuttles to the moon, and that she would indeed walk on Mars. She couldn't wait. I know she will do it. That's the other side of Emma, voracious curiosity. If there ever was a planetary citizen, it's Emma. Emma also talked about her commitment to her Armenian roots and her Armenian community, especially in Queens. Emma once organized an evening to remember the Armenian genocide, an event I am embarrassed to admit I didn't really know much about. I went to the evening and it was so powerful and so moving. I have not been the same since, truly. Once again, she reminded us that we can never, ever forget the past, our history, and what went before us, the sacrifices our ancestors made so we could all have a better life. Every time Donald Trump bangs on and on about immigration and immigrants and the border, I rail back at the TV screaming, "Have you met Emma? Have you met Emma?" Emma believes that people who operate from the center of care would affect serious change in the way business is connected, in the way we work, the way we treat each other, and how we treat our dear, dear planet, the planet Emma loves so much.
Giovanna Aguilar, a writer, producer, and director who helped to put Emma's ideas on paper and advised her podcast speaking opportunities.
I am so grateful to be standing among all of you, and many of you are probably family and friends and colleagues, celebrating a wonderful woman who has authenticity, who has heart, who put all of the love in the book that you will read on something that is as simple but as tenuous sometimes to attain, which is caring. And it's simple. But if you bring caring into an organization from your family, from what I learned a lot with Emma in telling her story, and when we met, it was a challenge for me, something that you will see in the book, and how being a leader is not just, saying that you're a leader or getting a title or being an executive, but really working from any level, whether you're an executive or you're a secretary, whatever you do, with heart and compassion and really caring in all of that, what you take onto your role, not just in working, but in your family. And anyone who knows Emma knows she's heartfelt and she's very, direct, but with compassion. And I think that's really important, and that's something that you're going to be reading in the book, that she articulates in a very eloquent way and with her stories.
Several colleagues who've known Emma for over a decade also spoke, including Rich Vinhais, a current executive director at Ernst & Young.
I've had the good fortune of knowing Emma for a very long time. We go back over a decade, and let's just say we grew up together in the firm, okay? And her energy, her drive, her willingness to try new things has always been an inspirational thing to me. I have read her book several times, okay? And I can't help but hear her voice as I'm reading the words on the pages. When I first joined the firm, and Emma and I really went through a difficult time because it was the development of a new service in the firm, and it was just a different place back then than it is now. And let's just say that in that environment, especially when you're dealing in the banking industry, it could be perceived as cutthroat to some, right? And what I quickly observed early on was just how her positivity and her willingness to demonstrate true caring and compassion for others was actually a competitive advantage. And not everybody saw it, not everybody understood it at the moment, and I didn't even understand it completely at the moment, because quite frankly, to truly care for those that are around you, right? Especially in a work setting, in a personal setting, I hope people care for the people they love and they look out for. But in a professional setting, it could be challenging, and it's usually because of the time factor, right? You're just so incredibly busy, you're so challenged with the work, and sometimes you forget how to be a human and the human side of actually interacting with others. Emma's, passion and curiosity has a tendency to bring the best out in folks, but it also causes people to just take stock and understand that caring, as was previously mentioned, is not necessarily a weakness, and quite frankly, it's the opposite. And to say, I care, or I'm looking out for others, it's easy to say that you're doing that. It's quite another to actually do it, because it's work.
Brian Bernier, a principal at Value Bridge Advisors, as well as author and professor. As Brian Bernier said, Emma Arakelyan has a long-term relationship impact through people's lives because she is intentional in connecting people. When people become connectors, so many benefits flow to so many people through their networks.
Emma comes to me about 9 months ago and says, Brian, we've had the change of government. For those of you at the Yale event, we just had the change of government. And she says, well, Brian, would you come to Armenia this summer? And of course I say, no, actually, I think the whole reason I came is because last time she took Tiran, and by taking Brian instead of Tiran, she only had to change one letter on the paperwork. So that was, but So we go to Armenia, and there in Armenia, I get a whole new view of Emma's caring and passion and change and innovation. I mean, government officials are meeting with her and, having lunch up in these fancy restaurants above Republic Square, and ministers and the prime minister and the president, and everybody's talking with her. But the thing that really impressed me is people that are trying to do stuff in their daily life. And that was Emma's first business caring formula thing, right? I mean, she gave me a book that night, and these people are looking at different lives. But Emma is responsible. She's concerned about what's happening. We're crossing Republic Square one day, dashing the traffic, right? And she says, Brian, I had a meeting with one of the government folks, and they're talking about all this automation. It's going to be great for reducing corruption. It's going to be great for improving service to citizens. But it's also going to wipe out jobs. So what are we doing about retraining? What are we doing about changing the opportunities for these people so we're not just using the technology steamroller to wipe things out? So she's compassionate and responsible in what she's trying to do and what she's trying to achieve. Just like all those young women, and by the way, I hasten to add, it's not just young women, it's me, it's Rick, it's everybody else, and Rob, that are around her that this book, Business Caring Formula, is all about.
First of all, thank you, everyone, for being here. This is a special evening because this is a giving evening. I prepared these pages of information, pages of life, pages of message to change not only mine, but change your world, your angle of looking at life, and your angle of making decisions. The book is not just the storytelling, the book is lessons telling. I want every person in this room, every person outside of this world, any age. This is a book for anybody who can read, now in English, later on it's going to be translated in Armenian as well, or any other languages. Anybody wants to translate, talk to me in other languages. So it reaches more people. It's all about, do you know yourself? And the meaning of, do you really know how much you can do? Do you really know how much you're capable of? Or you just decided to put into the box of what people told you you can. Well, if you were told and you met all of that what you were told, good job. Check that box. But then there are many other boxes, people. What is that one? So what I'm trying to give is a methodology, and I'm going to use this word because I'm a consultant. I just love that word. It's a methodology. It's a framework. I'm going to use all these buzzwords, whatever sits well better for you or with you. But it is a message. Learn who you are. Especially knowing all your capabilities. Put that entire talent you have in you, and it actually helps you to assess yourself. And then when you assess yourself, then you're thinking about how much am I ready to take this power in me to the world? What can I do? And we are damn lucky generation. Nobody can complain actually living on this in this century. It's the innovation, it's the power information, abundance of information, something that some of us in our generation didn't have. So use that, especially younger generation.
The value is that multiple people benefit and the overall network gains value. These opportunities materialize by both listening and intentionally connecting. These benefits are numerous, from finding expertise, financing, job, employees, or sales.
I think Emma's book is going to have amazing impact on the current generation and the future generations, because at the heart of her book is really talking about caring. And I think the world we're living in today, there's so much that's changing and technology is taking over so much that people are forgetting the whole human touch and the human connection piece of it. And I think Emma's book is so timely because it reminds you it's all about people, it's all about caring, and it's all about the connection. And that's why I think it's just going to be so relevant in today's world and also for all the future generations. So I'm so excited about this book.
Կարևորը նա է, որ ասինքն Էման ապրելով Նյու Յորքում նա Հայաստանով է ապրում, Հայաստանի սիրտն է եւ ինքը գանձ է Հայաստանի եւ աշխարհի համար։ Շնորհավորում։
I want to take a moment to share congrats. I'm so happy to be here for this day and for this day happening in your life. To see so many people caring about you, loving you, and being proud of you. You're one of a kind of person sharing all kindness, care, support, and keep going, keep rocking, and keep doing all great stuff and spreading the world.
It's a fascinating book. Emma is an incredible person that gives a lot to the people, especially to the younger generations. And she is a leader and teaches the leadership skills for the new generations. And we hope that many more people will come and read her book and follow her footsteps and her teachings. Her methodology is been accepted throughout the world, and it works. Most importantly, it's a practical way for the people to achieve success and have a fulfillment in their own lives. So it's a great book, and it's an amazing person that we have a privilege to have among us. I celebrate, and we all celebrate Emma today.
At the conclusion of the event, attending guests had an opportunity to have their books signed by Emma Arakelyan and socialize with the author. Emma will continue her book launch tour in Europe next month, including Paris, Amsterdam, Berlin, and London. The business Caring Formula is available for purchase on Amazon and her website at www.emmaarakelian.com.